Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Keith Swinton. I work for what used to be called Citizenship and Immigration Canada and is now Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada. Change of name to confuse everyone. I have a very short period of time, so I'm going to be brief today. Just to give you a little bit of an overview of what's happening within with immigration, what you as agricultural people, as employers can see from our programs, and a little bit about my role as the employer liaison. So first of all, who am I and what do I do? I'm one of those rare federal public servants that actually does want to talk to you. Last year, the department, my department, decided to put 6 liaison officers out across Canada specifically to deal with employers. There's one in Vancouver, one in Calgary. I'm based in Winnipeg, 2 in Toronto, and 1 in Halifax. And my responsibility is for Manitoba and Saskatchewan. I come to Regina about once a quarter, I come to Saskatoon about once a quarter, and I'll travel anywhere else in the province where I'm invited as needs be. And so what's my job? My job is threefold. My first job is this, general outreach. Talking with employers, with industry and trades associations, chambers of commerce, that type of thing, telling them about the immigration programs and about how our programs can maybe help you meet your labor market needs. My second job is to act as, well, I would like to call it a mailbox for you to put your concerns to the department. So feel free to email me, to call me, to talk to me in person. I'm very happy to hear your concerns. If I can't help you with your problems, I can flag them upwards to our program and policy people so that they're aware of the concerns of industry. And my third job is to act as a link between what's going on in Canada and the labor market needs here and our recruitment activities overseas. You may not be aware, but our Canadian embassies and consulates outside of Canada do a lot of promotion and recruitment for immigration. Traditionally, these have been general information sessions, but more and more now we're getting into very focused, very targeted recruitment sessions. So if we're looking at people specializing in agricultural equipment mechanic, I can work with our offices overseas to identify potential pools of candidates where we can then go and draw from to bring them to Canada. Okay, this thing needs a light touch. So before I go any further, in meeting the labor market needs of industry, and in this case of agriculture and the stock growers, one thing, our programs are all designed over one key principle, is that Canadian citizens and permanent residents of Canada come first. So before looking at recruiting from overseas, there are many, many opportunities to examine here in Canada. Consider the Aboriginal employment strategies, both at the federal and the provincial governments. Government of Canada jobs grant for training workers, for training managers, that type of thing. There are many people who are in Canada already that are looking for work. These could be in the rural communities, the spouses or grown children of temporary foreign workers. They are allowed to work as well. International students can work part-time during their school year and full-time on summer break, and full-time coincides very nicely with a lot of seasonal work in the agriculture industry. And then, of course, you've all heard about the Syrian refugees to Canada. There's 25,000 new residents in Canada, a lot of whom are currently in language training and settlement training, but in the coming months, they'll also be looking for jobs. Some of them are skilled in the agricultural industry, others are, of course, unskilled labor, but those are some avenues to consider before looking to recruit from overseas. So when we're talking about temporary foreign workers or hiring foreign workers into the industry, there are a number of programs that agricultural producers can access to meet some of your labor market needs. And these are temporary programs and permanent programs. The temporary ones, of course, some of them you may know about, the Seasonal Agricultural Worker Program. As my colleague from Carrick mentioned, this has been going on for 50, 60 years already. In fact, some of the seasonal workers that first started coming to Canada in the 1960s are now eligible for their CPP. There are limits to this program. It's limited to certain countries only, and also the commodity has to be on the national commodities list. There's the temporary foreign worker agricultural stream. This was brought in the past couple of years specifically to deal with some of the needs in agriculture. The temporary foreign worker program as well, this would be for those industries that are not on the national commodities list. And then there's two that I'd like to highlight that have been used traditionally in the past and I think can be used to a greater degree. The first is the International Experience Canada. IEC used to be called SWAP, the Student Work Abroad Program. And this is, every year about 80,000 young people come to Canada on open work permits to work wherever. And I know that often they are recruited into the agricultural industry. I'm having a conversation with our overseas offices and the province to see how we can perhaps connect employers with candidates in the IEC program. And then the next one is a new program. This is a program called Mobilité Francophone. And Mobilité Francophone is a new program designed to encourage Francophone immigration to areas outside of Quebec. Now, the way this program works is that these workers can come in without having to go through the process of getting a labor market impact assessment. If anyone's gone through that process, you know it is quite a bit of a hurdle, administrative hurdle. And so they can come in and they're on work permits, open work permits, for a period of up to 2 years to be able to work in wherever they wish. So this is a new program that began on June 1st, and more details of the program will be forthcoming, but that's something also to keep in mind. So those were the temporary programs, but there are also several permanent programs. So if you've got permanent job offers, you're looking for permanent labor in your industries, then you might want to consider some of the economic immigration programs. The first one is through a category called Express Entry. This is a way for people who wish to immigrate to Canada to submit their applications, but there's also provisions in there for employers to connect with people in the Express Entry pool. If you have any further questions about that, I'd be happy to answer them afterwards. Of course, there's the Saskatchewan Immigrant Nominee Program or similar provincial programs in the other provinces. And then finally, one thing I would like to highlight, given the expected demographic challenge and the retirement, the 30% retirement in the next 10 years, there is a program called the Self-Employed Category. And this is a program designed for people who wish to purchase farms, people from outside of Canada who wish to purchase farms and take them over and run them. So this is an immigration program for farm succession planning. And again, I don't have time to go into the details now, but I'll certainly be happy to do so afterwards or to answer questions. That's all my time for now. As I say, I want to talk to you. I want to hear your concerns. I want to try to help you. Feel free to approach me afterwards and get my contacts, copy them down from the screen, and see if we can do business together. Thank you.